as you can see today, especially for the students, the class looks a little bit different. We have some special guests joining us today. And I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to come across campus. I know it's a little bit confusing being here as well. So welcome, and for folks that don't know me, my name is Satang. I'm the instructor for the Human Rights and Development in Africa course, and I'm the director of programs at the Human Rights Center. And we're glad to have our executive director, Nanda Hudson, also join us as well. But this was also supported by Leila, who is a graduate assistant at the Human Rights Center. So I'll hand it over to her to facilitate this special panel. And I think what is also great as well, given the number of special guests that we have, that they're not the only panelists, that will also will have opportunity to hear from you, from your experience, and we greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Leila, for putting this together with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Leila Sakbuddin, and I'm an MBA student here at UD, and I'm also one of the HRC graduate assistants. So basically for today, we would like to deliver a panel talking about the genocide happening in Darfur, Sudan. And here we do have our speakers, Hashim Zakaria, Husseina Usman, and Esther Muhammad. And we also do have survivors here present with us today. And we also will be featuring Hashim's documentary project on what is taking place in Darfur, Sudan. And we also will have a Q&A opportunity towards the end. And I hope this opportunity will provide an opportunity for you guys to all take away a lot of information about what's taking place, but also a better understanding and increase awareness of what's taking place. But yes, so right now I'll introduce our speakers. So we have Hashim Zakaria over here, and he is currently a student at The Ohio State University. He's majoring in public policy analysis with a focus on education policy, and he's actively engaged in documenting the Masalit genocide through his documentary project. He is also the Associate Director of Education of Darfur Network for Development Association. And Husseina Usman over here is pursuing a bachelor's degree in business administration with plans to graduate in the next year. And she has a keen interest in leadership, organizational development, and social impact. And she's dedicated to using her skills to create meaningful change in her community. She also serves as a board member of Kudusi, a nonprofit organization committed to empowering Sudanese Masalit individuals at all levels of education nationwide. And then we also have Esther Muhammad, who is the senior at the University of Cincinnati, and she's majoring in psychology and criminal justice, and she will also be graduating soon. So yes, so these are all of our speakers, so I hope we can welcome them. And yes. Over here we have Hashim Zakaria talking first about some context of what's taking place.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hashim Zakaria. We are here today to document the ongoing genocide in Masalit and Darfur, which has lasted for over 20 years. Unfortunately, has not drawn sufficient attention from international community. Before we start, let me take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Human Rights Center at the University of Dayton for offering this opportunity. Also, a special thanks to Dr. Stengs for offering this platform, and my deep appreciation to Ms. Leila for her valuable support. I also extend my appreciation to all of you for being here today, waking up, find your home burned down to ground, your community razed, and your daughter raped before your eyes. This is harsh life in Darfur today, where history, identity, and lives are being destroyed. Today I'm speaking for those are in imminent danger. Al-Fashir is capital of North Darfur, has been under siege over more than a year. Tragically, the already vulnerable displacement camps in the state continue face relentless attacks, turning shelters of hope into battleground of fear. Today I urge action before more lives are lost. So before we dive deeper, let us understand where Darfur is and why it's significant. When you see in the map, blue light color is Darfur. So Darfur, located in Western Sudan, is bordered with 4 countries: Chad, Central African Republic, South Sudan, Libya. Darfur is one of the Sudan's biggest region. Let's see the size of Darfur. Darfur is approximately 493,180 square kilometers, almost the size of France. It has 5 states, which are South Darfur, North Darfur, East Darfur, Central Darfur, and West Darfur. Understanding Darfur population structure help us see how different communities has lived together for generations. So when you see here, like the main indigenous groups in Darfur, Masalit,For, Zagawa, along with many other tribes. Most of them are farmers and herders, but Arab tribes in Darfur are mainly nomadic people. They move within the region with their animals. But let us take a step back to explore the early history of Darfur. Sudan actually colonized by British, which is they call Anglo-Egyptian colonization, which is 1899. But at that time, Darfur wasn't part of Sudan. Darfur was independent sultanate. But Sultanate Darfur joined it to Sudan in 1916. However, Masalit wasn't joined Sudan that time and wasn't colonized at all. So French attempt to colonize, but people in Masalit were fought and won the battle. The Golan Agreement ended the conflict in 1919. When we say the word Golane, when it translated from Masalit language to English, take it and keep it. That means at that time, Golan Agreement gives 3 choices to Masalit people. Whether they join to Sudan, or they're going to join to Chad, or to be independent state. But Masalit people choose to join voluntarily in Sudan, which is 1990. So, to see the full picture of Darfur crisis, we must analyze the policies that led Darfur at this point. So after independence, Sudan ignored Darfur development needs at all. In October 1987, a group called themselves Arab Gathering submit a memo to Prime Minister at that time, Sadiq al-Mahdi, outlining plans for demographic change in Darfur. That was in 1987. This is one of the most significant factors behind the current crisis in Darfur. But there are widespread disinformation about root cause of Darfur conflict. Many sources claim that this conflict stemmed from water and grazing dispute. But the reality is far more complex Political agenda and foreign intervention play big role on this issue, largely because Darfur is very rich with natural resources. I'm currently in process of writing a research paper arguing that water and grazing are not the issue. I was born and raised in Darfur. I travel across all Darfur states, 5 Darfur states. I can attest that the crisis is deeper rooted in political strategy and demographic manipulation. This is really to research this issue. Okay, let's see key fact in here. According to 2023, the census of population of Darfur is 9.5 million. As I mentioned earlier, the size of Darfur is like 493,180 kilometers. When we make calculation about population density, is population density about 19.2 people per square kilometer. So that means we don't have any issue with grazing here because we have enough space. So, which is when you check the global standard, consider 19.2 is really low. But there's also a strategy behind this. The first one is launching war to eliminate and control targeted groups. 2, arming militia to attack African communities. 3, systematically looting of livestock from African communities. Today, many displaced African communities has been replaced by newly settled Arabs from Africa, like neighboring countries, Chad, Mali, Burkina Faso, and this Arab is just nomadic people. They settled in Darfur so far. But while the indigenous people in the camps, refugees camp and then displacement camps, for more than 20 years. So this is really big issue. Life in Darfur has not remained peaceful. The genocide of 2023 has left behind scars that tell painful stories. When you see this picture, I call this picture a silent witness. While I'm working on my genocide project, I told my kids about the Masalit genocide. I recall burning homes and destroyed lands. Those destroyed homes are the silent witness for atrocities. The remnants serve as reminder of lives that were lost, yet also that reflect the survivors of resilience. The devastation is not just a statistic, it has face, names, and stories. Let me introduce to you some of survivors. When you see this picture, I call, face of graves. Amna Abdallah and Rashida Adam, the survivors of 2023 genocide in Masalit, which is inside the Dayton city. So they escaped, they barely made it. So recently they arrived in Dayton, Ohio. They live in Dayton, Ohio so far. So their face reflect the profound grief and lasting pain of the unimaginable loss. Unfortunately, the suffering extends beyond the borders of Sudan. even Sudanese American citizens have been fallen victims on this crisis. When you see these pictures, these two guys, the first one is Said Baraka. He was murdered in January 17, 2021, when he went to visit his family in Al Junaina, which is capital city of Masalit or West Darfur. His
Hello everyone, I'll go over the key events here. In 2003, that's where like the conflict has gotten worse, and then the official attack has begun by the rebel groups against the government. The conflict has started to initiate the democratic replacement. They want to cleanse, like he spoke before. The Arab group got together to cleanse the people that are there, the indigenous people that are in Darfur, to replace them with the new Arab settlement that are coming in. In 2004, the U.S. declares the violence as a genocide. It was like what happened in Rwanda, but it's beyond more than that. Like our mind can comprehend. We don't get to experience. We don't get to experience from their own perspective, but we can just like say, oh, we felt their pain or whatever. But it's something that our mind cannot even comprehend. So the U.S. has declared it as a genocide in 2004. In 2007, the UN peacekeeping mission, UMED, has deployed. The UMED, it was there like around before 2007 and 2004 to 2004. So when it was there, it was keeping the track of the violence that was going on and recording and transmitting to the UN. So the conflicts were always up to date. But since it was deployed, the conflicts has gotten worse, and then like the initial documentation are not there. They can say like, oh, 300 people are killed today, but it's more than that. 200 people have been displaced today, but it's more than that, and then it just keeps going and going. In 2019 till present, the conflict has gotten worse despite the regime that has changed. So the echoes of that was in genocide. Over 300,000 has been killed between 2003 and 2008. Like I said before, that number is not even close to the amount of people that have been lost. More than 3 million people have been displaced since that time. Human rights violation. Around April 2023 to November 2024, about 780,000 refugees have been fleed to Chad, which is a neighboring country by Western Darfur. And then that number is the one that just recently recorded, but people are fleeing every day, like trying their best to flee the region to go to safer places, which is in Chad and in neighboring countries. But that number is not even as close to the ones that are happening every day consistently. The mass killing, the sexual violences and destruction of villages has gotten even worse over time. They are using the food and water scarcity as a weapon. Imagine like the basic needs that we need as humans to survive. We can't even get it because people are holding that against us to take us away from our place, our homes. Next, please. Here is a picture of a survivor, this child. This picture shows that a child who has survived, who lost his 6-month-old sister in the war. He's here reuniting with his cousins, which offer him a glimpse of relief after
what he had gone through. Here we have 3 pictures. These are the Sudanese American citizens who went missing. They just went to visit their family, to check on them, to see, oh, you know, we still got hope to get back to our home and then fix this, and then they never got back. Here, the first one on the top, his name is Ibrahim Adam Khamis. He was last seen on June 14, 2023, and his location of missing is in Junena, Sudan, which is like from West Darfur. His nationality is American citizen, and his residence is Grand Rapids, Michigan. He is married. And the second one is Juma Abdulrahman Ismail. He is also last seen on the same day as Ibrahim Adam Khamis, and his location of missing is also in Junena, Sudan. He's American citizen as well, and then he used to live in San Diego, California. He's also married. The third one here is Juma Zakaria. He was last seen on the same day. His location of missing is also in Junena, Sudan, and then his nationality is American citizen. He used to live in Baltimore, and then he's married and a father of 2 kids.
A scene all too familiar in West Darfur. Social media footage widely circulated last week showing RSF soldiers and supporting militia rounding up men. Harassing them, threatening them. CNN has been able to geolocate these videos, placing them in Andamata, an outlying district of Al-Jinana, the capital of West Darfur, where some of the worst atrocities during the recent war have taken place. Over the last year during the war in Sudan, the RSF have targeted members of African tribal groups, including the Masalit, who claim Darfur as their ancestral land. Many of the RSF belong to tribes which, unlike the Masalit, claim Arab ancestry. What we are about to show you is very disturbing. These are the most recent images emerging from Darfur. What you are looking at is a mass grave filled with over a dozen bodies. Some are alive, others clearly dead. One man can be seen throwing earth on top of another, even though he is still alive. A man off camera can be heard shouting as someone appears from beneath a pile of dirt. He quickly buries his head back into the earth. We don't know the fate of these men. It's also unclear whether the men seen in the ditch are the same men as those in the video running from RSF soldiers and militia loyal to the RSF. But it does illustrate the newest, most horrific pattern of violence in the region. Communication in Darfur has been deliberately choked by the RSF. It's been excruciatingly hard to understand exactly what's happening there. A few months ago, we traveled to a refugee camp in Adre, Chad, where survivors and eyewitnesses of these brutal attacks were able to cross the border. One by one, brave survivors came forward wanting to share, to document what has happened to them, describing the horrors from the city of Al-Jinana, stories of rape and enslavement.
From within our family, we lost more than 40 men.
They said to my father, "We're going to rape your daughter in front of you." The RSF said, "Leave these ones."
وكل مواقف. I'm Hashim Zakaria, working on documentary raising awareness about ongoing genocide in Masalit and Darfur in Sudan by sharing genocide survivors' stories. Your experience is valuable, and I appreciate your willingness to share your story. Feel free to share what you feel comfortable with. Thank you, and I appreciate your time and willingness.
My name is Amna Abdullah Yaqub. When I was 3 years old, my father and 28 family members were killed in the 2003 attack. After that, we moved to Genocide. In April 2023, when the RSF attacked, my family and I tried to go to Chad, but we blew by RSF militia. With no other choice, we decided to go to Adamata, where a military was about 3 kilometers away. It took us 11 hours to get there. Sadly, my daughter was only 6 months old, and I held her on my back the entire time without food and drink. After 7 days, we finally got a chance to run away, but a week later, I lost my daughter because of malnutrition. Sadly, we are missing 16 family members. We don't know where they are now.
أنا اسمي عبد العزيز قاسم بشير، وساكن في حي الجبل ومعسكر أبو زهر. تونا ساكنين. المشكلة ده حصلت يوم 24. طبعا المشكلة ده هو في البداية مع الحكومة مع دعم تونا هنا حرب خرطوم هناك ختم. طبعا في الجنينة هنا ما عندنا أي مشكلة موجودة. خلاص بعد الجنجريت دعموا في الأحياء في المساليت ده قاموا بضربوا وبهربوا وبنهبوا شغالين ماشيين لحد يومين 3 يوم. حكومة من المحليات ومن المراكز كله لموا أساكنوا في أرض مصر. زول جاء حامل لنا ماشي إلا أساكن في الوالي واقفين، هم ذات واقفين في اتجاه في الأحياء ما عندهم شغل، ومواطنين مع بعض بس نفوسهم بدافوا كده لحد عملنا شهرين. ووالي واقف مع المواطنين وهو أساكن بسيط. في الأخير في آخر مشكلة ده لحد اللي هو ذات مسؤول عن المواطنين وهو أساكن بسيط. في الأخير في آخر مشكلة ده لحد اللي هو ذات مسؤول منه. خلاص المواطنين خلاص ثاني أين زول باهمين هنا ماشي وما في لنا طريقة حتى نمشي. خلاص نحن نتحاول نمشي أرض مصر. خلاص دعامة
As you all seen in this short long video, in the beginning of the video where people are getting beaten up, running away from RSF, and then we don't know where they went, and then we see other people getting buried, some alive, some are dead, in like graves. But what is like even more tragic is that the people who flee to different regions to seek safety, the RSF are following them and then burning their homes and then their stores, their shops, and then everything they are trying to rebuild back. And then the people who are still remaining there in Sudan, in Darfur, there is no one the protection are not coming in to take them away from, from that environment to safety. So we really need action to get the word out so people can go in and help our people down there, and then get them out to, and then provide safety as soon as they can, and then provide the essential needs like medical. We have a lot of people that are injured, even though they are they are able to flee to safety, which is in like Agare and then the neighboring areas. We still have a lot of people who have lost legs, arms, and then they're just in needs of medical attention as soon as possible. So we really hope you enjoy this video, and then please share it and spread the word, and then so we can get more action involved going forward.
Hi guys, I will be reading testimonies and also reports. So, in 2023 genocide report, I have it here. The ongoing conflict in Sudan has been marked by extreme violence and large-scale atrocities. On June 13, the Sudanese Red Crescent reported discovering approximately 2,000 bodies in the streets of Al Geneina. Bodies were scattered all over the places before they were actually forced to come to a halt. Just 2 days later, on June 15, a brutal massacre occurred, which the United Nations panel of experts of Sudan later estimated to have resulted in the death of between 10,000 to 15,000 people. Throughout 2023 in Al Geneina, those events highlighted the devastating human toll of the conflict. Okay, Sultan Saad. Sultan Saad Abdurrahman Bahreddin is a traditional leader of the Masalit people and serves as the Sultan of Dar Masalit in Western Darfur in Sudan. In his capacity as the head of the Natives Administration in West Darfur, he has been actively involved in peace initiatives aimed at promoting social cohesion and development within the region. So on December 28 and 29, the Masalit community in the United States, they all had a meeting, and they decided that they're going to host an event where they will fly the Sultan over to Ohio, especially Dayton, and we will have a meeting to discuss all the things that have been happening for almost 23 years now, and maybe we can come to a solution, a peaceful solution that can maybe bring back our country, or maybe we can help our displaced people that are living in the neighboring countries like Chad and Libya and stuff. So yeah, that event was featured on the Dayton 24/7 news. If anyone watched the news that day, you guys were able to see it. If not, we actually have a link. We will drop the link at the end of the meeting, at the end of this session. Okay, crisis management report. So this report, according to the Crisis Management Committee, which is composed of 6 subcommittees, the humanitarian solution deteriorated rapidly between April 24 and May 2nd, 2023. During this period, a total of 4,422 individuals were wounded, including women, children, seniors, and men. Tragically, the majority of these victims lost their life due to the complete closure of hospitals, as medical facilities were forced to shut down, following threats from the Rapid Support Forces, which is known as RSF. So imagine you're sick, you're about to die, and everything is burnt, nowhere to go. Even the hospital that you were supposed to go get medication, it's closed. They're like, nope, no medication, they can die, we don't care about them. So yeah, this crisis escalated further after the assassination of the governor. His name was Khamis, he was killed. And this was one of the most horrific ways to kill a person. So it's not on the report, but it's things that we have seen, because apparently they killed him. They took a video of it, posted all over the place. They didn't care that there's kids that could watch this. So yeah, the crisis leading to a dramatic surge in violence and widespread devastation. The streets became littered with bodies, dead bodies all over the places. and the humanitarian crisis reached an alarming level. In response, the Red Cross issued a call for the collection of corpses but imposed strict conditions, including if the Red Cross came to help collect the bodies from the streets, they could not take pictures, they could not register the bodies, and they could not have any evidence of the people that were dead, because nobody wanted the information to go outside the countries. Nobody wanted to help the people that are dead or the people that could actually been helped. So yeah. Okay, I have a testimony from Rashida Adam. She is in Dayton, Ohio, but she wasn't able to make it, and this is her testimony. This is what she said. She said, after 57 days trapped under a complete siege, my family and I finally managed to flee to Chad. On our way, we came across a vehicle that had stopped to help a pregnant woman give birth. She was in labor, and we approached to see if we could help or assist. As we stood there, the rapid support forces suddenly arrived and stopped us. While we waited, one of them asked the woman if she knew the gender of the baby. She replied that she did finally manage to flee to Chad. On our way, we came across a vehicle that had stopped to help a pregnant woman give birth. She was in labor, and we approached to see if we could help or assist. As we stood there, the rapid support forces suddenly arrived and stopped us. While we waited, one of them asked the woman if she knew the gender of the baby. She replied that she did not know the gender of the baby. They didn't say anything else and just stood there and waiting. When the baby was finally born, and it turned out to be a boy, one of them took a knife without hesitation in the most horrific act. She said in the most horrific act she has ever witnessed, he cut open the baby's stomach and killed him right in front of us. This horrific event never left me, according to her. Rashida was not able to actually make it here, but her story is here with us. Another survivor is Saddam. Saddam survived the 2003 genocide, but he lost his father and barely made it to Chad. Unfortunately, even the refugee camps were not safe. Caught in the crossfire between the Chadian government rebels and the Janjaweed militias, one day a classmate of Saddam unknowingly brought a grenade to school. It exploded, injuring 25 students. Saddam lost his right hand and one of his eyes, forcing him to abandon his education. He went through 2 surgeries and therapy, but physical and emotional scars still linger. And guess what? Saddam is actually with us in the room, and he's sitting right there.
This is where I have faced this story. My name is Saddam Muhammad. I was born January 1st, 1989 in City Port Habiba, which is belonging to Albania, West Darfur. In 2003, there was a genocide happened, as my people witnessed it around, and they said all was right. So I was one of the survivors. For 2003, we escaped to Chad as refugees. So I stayed in Chad camp for 12 years. So and also there was, as sister mentioned, so there was a problem between the Janjaweed militia and Chad revolution. So they came in camp, so and they brought the kind of this problem. So I missed my right hand, my right eye. Also, I was wounded off. I spent about 5 to 6 months to get recovered. It was in a city called Kuku, from Kuku to Guzbeda, from Guzbeda to Abasha. That cities in Chad. And finally, also, I stayed like 3 months in the capital city of Chad to get recovered. So after that, I met organization UN. So they said that we will try to take you in the United States to get better, because at that time I was not able to see my eyes. So when I came here, I get like 2 surgeries in my left eye and right eye, and also I got a massive of surgeries in my left knee. So this is what happened is right. So I'm one of the survivor of Genocide 2023. Thank you, right.
Okay, I will continue where I left from. The challenges of refugee camps in Chad. One huge challenge that everyone is facing, especially students, is education. According to the Vice President of Sudan, Malik Agar, on Sudan TV, 13,000 students who barely made it to Chad have been denied the opportunity to take their high school exam. Imagine you're almost done with your high school and you only have to take one exam, and then all of a sudden things happen. Like COVID came out of nowhere. And one huge challenge that everyone is facing, especially students, is education. According to the Vice President of Sudan, Malik Agar, on Sudan TV, 13,000 students who barely made it to Chad have been denied the opportunity to take their high school exam. Imagine you're almost done with your high school and you only have to take one exam, and then all of a sudden things happen. Like COVID came out of nowhere, and let's just say COVID was terrible to the point that we had to leave the country. And you go to the neighboring country or the neighboring state and they're like, no, you cannot take the exam, you cannot go to high school here. So yeah, that's what is happening to a lot of our students. 13,000 people that could have made it to colleges don't have the opportunity to actually go. Another one that we have is Dr. Tayyib Ali, president of Al Genana University, reported that out of 17,000 students, 9,000 managed to reach Chad. Unfortunately, most of them face an uncertain academic future. Despite the presence of 21 refugee camps in Chad, with 21 high schools, which graduate at least 2,000 students each year, less than 1% of those graduates are admitted to universities due to the lack of funding and extreme poverty and shortage of universities in Chad. On January 28, 2025, all high schools and refugee camps in eastern Chad were closed due to Chadian government intervention and lack of funding. Despite of that, government put obstacles on private education centers. Education is a major challenge for Masalit children in refugee camps due to overcrowding, limited sources, and lack of qualified teachers. Many children do not have the access to school or are unable to complete their education. This lack of education hinders the long-term perspective of the Masalit community, limiting their future opportunities and the further perpetuating cycle of poverty and displacement. The struggles of the Masalit or refugee camps in Chad, healthcare. So, as we said, healthcare is terrible. Access to healthcare in refugee camps is limited. Medical facilities are often underfunded and understaffed, and essential medication and supplies are short. This makes it difficult for refugees to receive the care they need for common illness, chronic conditions, or injuries. There are 3,000 injured individuals, some in critical conditions, who are unable to receive proper medication treatment, especially those requiring surgery due to a lack of healthcare facilities. Which one is that?
It's the same. It's the
Oh.
same one.
Yeah. Actually, we're on the missing people and detainees. According to the Juzur organization based in Adere is in Chad, 2,653 individuals, including children, women, seniors, and men, are currently missing. Current challenges that people are facing are lack of justice for the victims, ongoing brutal attacks and displacement, weak international response, and neglect in global discussion. Other challenges in Chad are overcrowding and insufficient resources. Chad or refugee camps in Chad are often overcrowded due to the high numbers of displaced people, including the Masalit community. This overcrowding makes it difficult to maintain adequate living conditions. With the overcrowding numbers of refugees, essential resources like food, clean water, sanitation, and healthcare are in short supplies. This lack of resources increases the risk of malnutrition, disease outbreak, and poor hygiene. Another problem is lack of adequate shelter and poor living conditions. Many refugee camps lack adequate shelters, forcing people to live in flimsy tents or makeshift structures. Those shelters offer minimal protection from harsh weather conditions such as extreme heat, rain, sandstorms, and etc. Another problem is food insecurities and malnutrition. Refugees in Chad, including the Masalit people and other ethnic groups, often face chronic food shortages. The camp food rotation are insufficient to meet the nutrition needs of the large number of population. So there's so many people, the food is so little, and sometimes people are not even able to get crowded or overcrowding and insufficient resources. Chad or refugee camps in Chad are often overcrowded due to the high numbers of displaced people, including the Masalit community. This overcrowding makes it difficult to maintain adequate living conditions. With the overcrowding numbers of refugees, essential resources like food, clean water, sanitation, and healthcare are in short supplies. This lack of resources increases the risk of malnutrition, disease outbreak, and poor hygiene. Another problem is lack of adequate shelter and poor living conditions. Many refugee camps lack adequate shelters, forcing people to live in flimsy tents or makeshift structures. Those shelters offer minimal protection from harsh weather conditions such as extreme heat, rain, sandstorms, and etc. Another problem is food insecurities and malnutrition. Refugees in Chad, including the Masalit people and other ethnic groups, often face chronic food shortages. The camp food rotation are insufficient to meet the nutrition needs of the large number of population. So there's so many people, the food is so little, and sometimes people are not even able to get food. So that causes a lot of health issues as well, and it's one of the reasons why there's no good nutrition for people. A lot of people ran away from their country. They haven't ate for days to make it to Chad. And imagine you haven't ate for days and you have been walking for almost a few days. You made it to Chad. You're finally, oh my God, I will have something to eat. And there's nothing to eat. Even when there is something to eat, it's not enough because you have your kids, they have their kids, and you have your families. There is no enough food, no enough clean water. It's horrible. Okay.
These are some of the resources we have. We have the Darfur Network for Development, and we also do have everyone's contact information listed over here if you want to ask any questions or maybe get to know them a bit more or hear their story. And if you guys like to speak on that, if you want to talk about that.
So we also have two organizations. One is the Masalit community of Ohio, which is our community, and we have another organization that we have been working on. So it's called Darfur Network for Development. This organization, we just started this almost a year something ago, and it has been a great experience, honestly. We have been going around talking to people who actually have power in Ohio to see. It's not for help, it's mostly about bringing awareness to what is happening, because most of the time when you talk about genocide and stuff, and especially about Darfur, not a lot of people know where Darfur is. Even when they Google it, they don't know anything, they don't know much about it. So we have been trying to bring to light what people don't know about. So we have those two. We also were supposed to actually have the president of the MS community, but I don't see him here, so he basically did not attend. But we have somebody who actually represents him, and I have 5 more minutes. If he wants to say something, I will give it